We're a mess.
We are.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to episode 290 of Consignment Chats. You guys know there's a moment every reseller hits when that listings, they pile up faster than you can post them, but you just push through, you try to, and then you're like, things get backed up, all that stuff. You're like, I can't even think straight right now. I've got all this to do and that to do. Guess what? Today, we're going to break down hiring help, who to bring on first, what it actually costs, kind of thing. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about it so that you know by the end of this how to break down whether or not you should look into hiring help and what kind of help that could be, because there's several different ways to bring help in, right?
Yeah, you have lots of options here.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Consignment Chats, reselling tips, mindset, and real life. Hit subscribe and let's grow together.
All right. Option number one, though, is my business that you guys don't even know that I run. But if anybody wants to send me a plane ticket, I will fly to wherever you live for a couple weeks, and you can pay me to photograph or list things for you or organize, and then the next person sends me a ticket, and then I go to their house, and I'm just gonna bounce around forever. It's gonna be great.
Oh, okay. Okay. Libby, do you hear this?
I do. I have another tab open with plane.
You're looking at the tickets right now?
Mhm.
I know. I tell Nick all the time, we got to get money so we can bring Samantha in. I need her here for a week or two. I need Samantha. I need her. I don't need you to
Oh,
photograph. I just need you to organize my house. That's all. That's all.
perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Let's talk about your business as a whole first, and the kind of scaling and kind of how that starts.
So let's just let's look at my business. So
Yeah.
5 years ago, I quit my job in healthcare and said, I'm gonna make eBay a full-time job. And I had 20 items listed, 20 or 25 listed on eBay. So that was scary. And then I scaled. I just started listing and listing. And eventually I started really paying attention to that listing calculator that we have available at consignmenttrats.com, also linked below. And it showed me, like, I put in what I wanted to make, which is what I made at the hospital. Like, that's the goal. So I made sure I had a goal
Right.
in mind. And then I put those numbers in, and I got to the point where I did as much as I could. And then I realized I'm not truly going to hit these numbers unless I work 27 million hours a day or have someone else helping me. But also summer Samantha takes over. So like I'm really fond of like a work-life balance. So it probably wouldn't be 27 hours a day, but I really don't like working like 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day. So there's that too. Yeah.
I know there are people out there that do work that long. I mean, that's what they
Yeah.
do. They
Mhm.
work into the night.
Yeah.
And there are times where I've gotten myself into that, but I am really not. I had this long talk with myself a couple of years ago. Like, this is not where I want my business. So I think that's the number one thing. Take that listing calculator, first of all, and put pen to paper and figure out, what is your overall goal for
Mhm.
where you want your business to be. Are you the income provider for your family? So that's a different than I'm doing it as a hobby and for fun, or coffee and sushi, as Samantha used to say back when she
Yes.
was working her other job, or
Yes.
maybe use it for travel money. Whatever it is, you got to get that listing calculator, you got to put pen to paper, I think, and figure out what your overall goal is for.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think like starting, like if you're not sure, my biggest piece of advice is do it all yourself first and
Oh, yes.
understand each and every process. Because even
Absolutely.
as we go through this and we tell you like how or we give you ideas on how to, bring somebody in or hire help, I firmly believe, and I've learned this one the hard way, that you need to know those processes inside and out in your business, because these having somebody else come in is not foolproof. Having them take it over, um, it's not it's not really a great idea unless you have everything nailed down the way you want it and truly understand the process. Yeah.
You have always said that to me, and I love that. And I am not the business owner. Libby is the business owner. I own my own kind of business under Libby's umbrella, but
Yeah.
I don't do the back end of it. But
You guys are like franchised.
right, we're franchised. But I learned so much from things that Libby says, and it stuck with me. I think it was like a couple of years ago where we were having coffee talking on a normal day, and there was something going on where you were hiring somebody or pulling somebody in, and you said something along the lines of, I never hire anybody for anything that I can't pick up and do if something happens and they walk out the door. And I
Yeah.
think that's so important to know that the only person you can solely count on, really count on for your business is you.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, like I think it's very different than a corporate mindset, which I was coming from, right? Like there's no way you can do it all. Like it's very different when you have I think it's very different. This is one of the big differences with having a small business like this is you need to know everything.
So I agree but disagree with that. Mostly because I was trying to change that in the corporate.
Mm.
So when I worked for the hospital, I managed all the clerical staff for 25 different doctors' offices. But my co-manager and I, we made sure that we worked at least like one shift a month. It usually ended up being like 3 a week, but one shift a month as a receptionist doing the job and making sure that we knew how to schedule the appointments and put notes into the doctors and do all the stuff that we were telling them how to do and teaching them how to do and all that. So I think though, even though it's not as popular, it still should be in the corporate world. And we should think about the managers that we had and the people that we had in the jobs we had before, because most resellers had a different type of job. You don't just graduate school and you're like, I'm reselling on eBay. And you should think about the type of boss that you had and what you would tweak, or the things that you liked about them, things you didn't like, and try to be that yourself. Even though you make all the rules now, there are still some things like that you want to carry on and keep going. Yeah.
It's like I said back in my days of preschool teaching and being a nanny way back when, pre-child, that I made little brain lists the whole way through. This I will do with my child. This I will never do with my child. This I will do with my child. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember when eBay used to make all their employees sell on eBay?
I mean, that was awesome when they all knew exactly what we were talking about. We'd go to our conferences, we'd go to meetings and stuff, and we'd say, oh, well, this doesn't work. And they're like, oh, that's weird. I listed something last week and it worked when I did that. Like, they knew what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also want to mention that for anybody worried that Molly still doesn't have the preschool thing, she does still finger paint every week. So she really took that on and went with it.
I do.
Candace, I love you. I hope that made you laugh on a train or something. There we go. All right.
What can I say?
There we go.
I was the art teacher in my preschool. I was the attarista. So I was a studio teacher. So, fingerprint, clay, Play-Doh. I'm happy.
There we go. I love it.
All right. Let's talk about the different types of employees that you could pull in, different ways to pull people in. I'm going to start talking about mine. Mine is my husband, Nick. You hear me talk about him all the time. I don't have to pay him. He's just committed into the business, loves it, and helps me like crazy when he's not working his banker man job. So if you are lucky enough to have a significant other in your life who really loves your business and is willing to help on their off hours, that's a great way to start. I mean, it's a great way to start. And he started off with just learning one thing and then another, and now if something happens to me, he and Libby will just keep going. They won't miss a beat. They'll just keep going without me.
And it helps you think about the processes of stuff before actually hiring someone, because you really do have to have your processes down.
Mm-hmm.
You had like me building over the last 5 years was like tweaking my listing process, tweaking the way we do our inventory, tweaking our shipping process, all of that. and then you add somebody else in, and my husband does my shipping as well. That was, he does not like reselling. He doesn't even like talking about reselling. He thinks it's cool to hear our stories, but like he's never going to be a reseller. But he was also burnt out from healthcare and wanted to retire early. And I said, well, you can't really do that unless you help with my business. So he's my shipping manager, and he's very good at it and he likes it, but he swears he'll never touch a computer. But it made me realize, like, I look at the process and I'm like, this works this way, like everything's great. And then he came in and he was like, this doesn't make sense. And we really had to like see how we see things differently and tweak things and make it work. And then eventually I had to fully let go and say, this is your process. How do you want to do shipping? Which was very
Yes.
hard. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't find that hard. I did that not long ago, and I didn't find that hard at all.
So this makes me think of something too. Before you even think about where to find the person, or you have to think about what part of your business you want them to work in. I like shipping. So that was not my ideal solution to having help, but it was the only thing he could do truly without a computer, or a phone or any type of technology. So but when thinking about other aspects and then the other employees that I have, you got to think about the stuff that you don't like to do. Like, do you still want reselling to be fun? You don't want it to be like a job and, oh, I'm a boss and I got people. The most of us are trying to get away from that lifestyle. So you have to think of like, okay, I don't really care about photographs. So, but it would be really easy for somebody else to come in and do a bunch of photographs for me. Or I don't like cross listing. So I use Nifty, use code chats and make sure they use the code below. But also before Nifty, I hired someone to do cross listing because that was like the bane of my existence. I hated it. So you don't want to give up the happy stuff or the fun stuff or the parts that actually make you like being a reseller. So always keep that in your mind as well.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about like virtual help, whether somebody's like physically present, and we're also going to talk about like somebody physically being there or physically being in proximity, maybe not in your space. There's a couple different ways to do that, and it may be based on what is available, right?
You know
Like,
what I love
so
about this, Libby, is that you've dabbled in them all. Like you've
yeah,
dabbled. There's not a way you could do it that Libby hasn't given it a shot with somebody somewhere down the road.
Right?
yeah. So like so right now we were talking about like family, and so my mom lives next door and she is retired, and she literally lives for coming over here. She does not do much, like Samantha says, that she does not do technology, computers, any of that, but she will take the phone and she loves to photograph. And
Yeah.
it gives her something to do. Like, she feels good about it. She's helping me. She enjoys it. And, so don't, it might be somebody that's retired and kind of looking for something to do. Yeah. And maybe they don't know technology. I think our first, kind of bent is it needs to be somebody that is good with the computer. We're an online business. But like Samantha said, like her husband does the shipping and he doesn't use technology. My mom doesn't really use technology. Although, shout out to my mom. Like, she's kind of nailed the iPhone in recent years. Like, I heard her giving my aunt tech help the other day, which
Way
was
to
like
go, Jamie.
amazing. But yeah, she just comes in and puts the photographs on the phone, and it's been wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God, that's a
Awesome.
nice thing to have take that step out of your process.
Yeah,
Woo.
and so don't discount people that aren't really into tech at all, or
Absolutely.
savvy on a computer. There might be ways, if they're physically present, that they can help organize. And yeah.
Oh yeah.
What Nick and I did with the same kind of idea of photographing, I don't like photographing clothing, but I love photographing hard goods. So he now does the clothing, I do the hard goods. And I love that because if I gave somebody all of the photographing, I would miss it because I do
Right.
enjoy taking photos. So it's the perfect divide for me. You do the mannequin and the clothes, I'll do all the hard goods, shoes, purses, and that kind of thing. So, you can tweak it the way that keeps your happiness there. Keep
Mhm.
those little things that you love at the forefront.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
let's quick insert here the difference between like employees, contractors, family, and kind of just break that down a little bit. Like an employee is somebody that you have on payroll, right? Like you're doing payroll, you're doing the taxes. That is what I did in the store and a little bit after the store as well. That's how I paid you. That's a lot. That's a lot more responsibility, right? Like you're guaranteeing them hours, you're, doing the payroll tax, all of that stuff. You're handling that stuff. So the second I could get away from that, I did. But you might be in a position where that is the way you're going is you want employees, the people you have, you want to have 40 hours or however many hours a week. But that is what like an employee is. Right now, contractor is the way a lot of us work. So, they get paid usually, well, it can be piecemeal. We'll talk about that too. It can be hourly. I have contractors, I pay hourly. So kind of what that means is they just, submit their hours at the end of the week. I pay them. I do not do payroll taxes or anything like that. But at the end of the year, I need to do a 1099. So I send them a sheet and said, all right, you've earned, $5,000 or whatever. And I am responsible for giving them a 1099 and just letting them know how much they've earned so that they can handle the taxes. I love this so much more than the payroll thing. I'm not guaranteeing anybody any hours. It is just like, what they put in, they get out, and they handle everything on the back end except for that 1099, which I'm responsible for. And then we have volunteers, family. I mean, sometimes it's not, family members that are volunteering. Sometimes it's just people in the community. But and then you have that, and you might have to provide a reference for them at some point, like be a good like volunteer host, right? Like if they're going for something else, make sure they know that they will get a reference from you if they're a good volunteer.
Our community member, Kathy Sings, she was having a hard time balancing, she wanted to go to lunch a couple times a week with her friend, but she also wanted to get all her listings. She's trying to grow and get her processes down. Her friend was like, do you want me to come help? And they now just hang out while she helps with her listings and photography and stuff. It's so cute. And she gets time with her friend, and her friend's like, this is cool. This is great. Feed me some lunch. And they're good to go.
Right.
And learning some skills along the way. Yeah.
I love it.
I love it a lot.
There's also different ways to do that as well, because we have online platforms that connect you with people. And then of course you have your in-person and people that you meet, whether it's students or a senior or whatever it may be. So I use Upworks, which there is a link below if you want to check them out. There's a referral code. I went on there just like, I just knew I wanted somebody to cross list for me. I had taken my entire Poshmark store down which was not a ton. It was maybe like 1,000 items because I was sick of dealing with it. And I was going to start fresh, which meant that my Poshmark sat empty for like 6 months because every time I went to cross list stuff over there, it was not very much. I wasn't keeping up with it. So I went on to Upworks to find somebody that could specifically cross list. I was using List Perfectly at the time. And I looked, you can search by the cross list you're using, the platform you want them to work on. Like there's people out there with experience and things like that. And I found my person, and I was able to send them videos through the platform. All I have to do is put on there, like I put on there that I wanted to pay X amount up to X amount of hours per week. So I'm not like guaranteeing that she'll get those hours every week, but that's like the most that she's going to get. And then, put other different little terms in there and your expectations. And then you can chat back and forth with people. It's kind of like dating a little bit. Like you're like, hey, I like long walks on the beach. And she's like, cool, I like pina coladas. Like it works out great. So, I chatted with a couple different people. And then my Jenny is the one that stuck out to me. And, but I could send videos, and even though we're in like totally different, we're 12 hours apart time wise and like all the different stuff, we could communicate through there, and then it's all on there. So if it doesn't work out, you can end the contract, you can whatever. They handle the 1099s and all that part, you just submit your payment every week. Like they're handling all the back end stuff as well. So if you're like a 1099, I don't want to deal with that at tax time, or even though it's so easy, guys, it's so easy, but they can take care of that for you as well. And it's so nice.
Yeah,
So what's that? Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you want to talk a little bit about like where a lot of the virtual assistants that people use are located and the general pay range? Because I think that's a big factor.
Yeah. So I pay hourly. You can set it up per item or whatever. And I know I had a friend that did per item, and I think they did like 10 or 15 cents per item. And he had someone that was in India. Jenny is in the Philippines. She is a full-time 8th grade science teacher. And my $5.50 an hour is helping put her child through dental school. So it's crazy the differences that makes. But yeah, I was started out at $5 an hour. And the nice thing about Upworks too is that I could say, okay, every 6 months we're going to increase that by 1% or whatever it is. So she knows that she gets raises and things like that she can count on. So yeah, so I think we're up to like $5.50 an hour, and it's nice because I can work during the day. We photograph, we do stuff, we load all of the drafts in, and then she works at my nighttime, which is her daytime, and then it's pretty nice that way too.
Yeah. And I use my son who's in college as a virtual assistant. Now I'm not getting the great rate that Samantha has for her employee. But he's working his way through college, so happy to pay up a little bit. But he does this remotely. He does all the cross listing, and yeah. So, but I am responsible for the 1099 at the end of the year, and I do pay a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know if that's the recommended option. Depends on your situation, but he does an awesome job. My daughter, on the other hand, I just think we need to mention this with family and kids, because I would say my daughter's direct quote was, "I would rather scrub toilets than work for you." And
Yeah.
like, no, seriously, I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, seriously.
I'm sure Maria's it wasn't a direct quote, but I'm sure it was very similar. She tried a couple times to do photographs,
Mhm.
and I said, honey, if you could please put those in square mode and make sure that the item is centered, that would just help me so much. I think a phone was thrown at that moment, and that
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
So I would just want to put this in here because a lot of us have had this experience. It is not just Samantha and I with our children that have had this experience. A lot of us have, tried to get them in, like, great way for them to earn money, but it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And most of the time, I would say, like, based on our community and people I know, maybe it works about 5% of the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
Cal's
don't
never
get
wanted.
discouraged. Like, if you think, oh
Yeah.
gosh, they would be great at this. It just doesn't always work that way.
But then I have my niece who's 14, and she loves this. I've trained her in so many, she could run her own eBay store right now. Like, she loves it. She picks up on it quickly. She understands it. Like, it clicked with her, and she does a great job. She's here right now pulling orders and putting away inventory and helping Bill with shipping. She does great. She's going to list stuff for me later. Fantastic.
Yeah. So don't push it if it's not for your, not for your family. Don't feel like everybody else's kids are doing it and pitching in, because that's not the reality. Don't get frustrated. Like,
no, and you definitely don't want to force it, because the last thing you want to do is spend your day arguing with your child because they're not happy, and then you're not focused on the joy of your business. You're focused on the headache of trying to get your child to do something that they clearly are not interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cal wanted nothing to do with it. I mean, he'll ask me sometimes about stuff, or he'll go thrifting with me sometimes because he loves to thrift, but he wants, because I've said to him when he was in college, you should sell some things. You could, I'm good.
That's what I said. Like, if you can like learn the skills of reselling, you're never going to be like, really, not that you'll never be strapped for cash, but like if you're desperate, like you can always do that. Like it is like a safety. My son
Right.
took it to heart. He is like he scaled his reselling business. It took off. He helps me. He learned those skills and he hustles it. So it serves him well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great thing for them to do if they want extra money for they want to go on spring break with their friends and they want to make some extra money for spring break.
Yeah.
Thrift and sell some stuff. I mean, it'd be a great thing, but sometimes they just don't want to because you are doing it. So,
Right. And if
Yeah.
you push it too much, they won't even like thrifting with you anymore. So don't push it too
Right.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I do want to talk a little bit too about what Jenny does for me and what Ella does for
That's
me.
what I was going to ask you, kind of what
Yeah.
that process is.
Yeah. So Jenny, like I said, started with Poshmark. I just wanted somebody to cross list everything to Poshmark. So I sent her videos, showed her what my process was with List Perfectly and how I did that. I have since changed from List Perfectly into Nifty. So things evolved a little bit. But once everything was in Poshmark and we were moving and grooving over there, I had her also do Etsy. Okay. Sort everything by vintage or handmade, cross list everything to Etsy. And then I had that only took a couple months. I had all of my stores were at full capacity and I was like making money in all of them. It was crazy. And then it was the maintenance of like, okay, I list X amount of items and I had to kick myself in the butt. Like, oh, she caught up. Oh, now I have to list X amount of items every week to keep up with her. So although when I switched to Nifty and they have integrated so many like streamlined things, I realistically could drop Jenny and do what we're doing right now, probably by myself, working a couple extra hours a week. But I don't think that I would list as much if I didn't have the people around me and the cost outweighs it for sure. Like it outweighs the cost because I'm only paying her like, $200 a month and I'm making thousands more a month because of the volume that I am listing. So it definitely, she definitely pays for herself. So I have her, I put in photos and a price and a SKU into Nifty. And then she goes through and she runs the AI. She double checks the AI. She triple checks the AI because Lord knows I don't have the patience for that. I don't want to do it. And she fills in all of the required fields and things that need to go in there and then makes the item go live. She does some of my analytics because they don't pull in Etsy shipping costs after you ship something. So she pulls that in. So all my analytics are correct. And then there's just odd jobs. If I'm like, hey, fairy core is a thing right now. Can you search all of my listings for things that are X, Y, and Z and this style? And I might send her a little like article or something explaining fairy core or whatever. And she will go through it, like, especially if I don't have as many things listed that week or I'm going away on a camping trip or something. If I don't have things prepped and loaded for, I'm like, hey, if you need to get to your 10 hours, go through and tweak these listings. And so she'll go through and she'll search my catalog and look for cowboy country or whatever all that crap is. And yeah, she'll update that. So there's odd jobs like that, as well as things come up where I'm like, I really want to jump on this bandwagon, but at the same time, that's a waste of my time. But if Jenny needs the extra hour or two that week, it's perfect to have her do it. And then I'm still able to keep up with the trends, but I'm going camping. So.
Dadgummit.
And then as far as Ella, like I said, I've trained her in so many different parts of this that I actually had to reel it back and say, okay, what are we actually doing when you come here on Monday? What are we doing when you come here on Thursday? Like that kind of thing. Because it actually got to the point where she knew so much of it that we didn't have a very structured schedule and it was a little discombobulated. So you want to make sure that you're spending time well and they have clear guidelines as to what you expect from them, the days and times that they're coming. We talk about time blocking us. We also need to time block our employees, not to the point where you're micromanaging everything they do, but to the point where like Ella knows when she comes on Monday that she gets a list and she pulls all the items for Bill to pack and ship. And while he is packing, she is then putting away any of the items that I have listed while she was gone. And then she comes in and she does some stuff on the computer. And then I have her photograph and list clothes, because I hate pants. I hate effing pants with a passion. And that was the first thing I trained her on, was like, you need extra money? Great. Do you want to measure pants? And we just built it from there. And so just like Molly and Nick, she does a lot of the clothing, and then I can do my board games and the stuff like that, and make sure that we get to our money amount each week, because board games would not get me there alone.
Right. Right. So I had my niece come visit, my middle niece, by herself a couple of months ago, and I printed out measurement charts. And one day I said, look, we're going to go do all this stuff, but one day you're going to help Uncle Nick. And I had her sit down with a pile of clothes that we had recently thrifted on the couch, and she just sat there watching a documentary and measured on the coffee table and wrote in for Nick. And Nick was like, that was awesome.
Nice.
So I mean, something as simple as that could make a big difference.
I've even had Bill do it. There was a day, I mean, he does gig work, but there's been times where he hasn't been able to, or he doesn't want to. And he has asked, what can I do to help you? And he doesn't ask that anymore, because I made him measure pants or shirts or something. I would photograph them and set them in front of him. He would measure. We had a crime documentary up on the computer while we were doing it. And I would take a picture of the measurements, and he would bag it, and we'd go on to the next thing. And so there are things that you can implement to help streamline, but you got to make sure that it's helping you too, because we see a lot of people hire other people or get helpers, and they're either spending so much time managing or micromanaging them that they're really not gaining any time or efficiencies. Like that I think is the biggest thing that sticks out to me when we coach people.
That's my thing. I never understood about a VA, when people would talk about, oh, I've got a VA and they're doing my listings for me. And I'm like, but how? Well, I photograph everything, and then I put the measurements in there, and then they create the listing. I'm like, at that point, just do it. Like, if they can't take the measurement and the photograph for me, but I wouldn't want somebody to do that. To me, that's a waste of time, because if I'm going through that, I can easily put it up. But to use one for cross listing or delist relist kind of thing, or upgrading your titles, that I find could be very valuable, I would think.
And the nice thing about Nifty and Vendu is, once your photos are in there and you can put your stuff in it goes out to all the platforms. It's not like you have to do each platform individually. So it looks a lot different than the clunkiness that I had before with the other cross lister. But yeah, I put that. I don't want to sit at a computer all the time. I don't, and I'm still answering questions on all the platforms. I'm still doing the customer service, all the returns, the whatever, like all that junk. So yeah, I don't want to sit and fill out every aspect that I needed of that email listing, because I used to be one of those people that was like, it has a title, and I copied into the description, and I put that it's a size medium, and I don't want to fill out any other box, any other thing, any other whatever. And I don't think you have to start. I don't think you need every single little detail that it's 20% cotton and it's this and it's that. I don't think you need all that in the drop downs on your listings. However, if I'm going to have Jenny do my listings, she can do the complete and every drop down and every item specific that she can get from my photographs. And I implemented a lot of things, so I can't tell what one thing made my sales better, but I'm still up 50% year over year. So something's working.
Bravo. So when you hire somebody and sign a contract, can you do that on a very temporary basis? Like, could you hire somebody just to clean something up for a month in your business? Okay.
Absolutely. Upworks is really good with that. They do temporary ones. You can do them just for a specific timeline or a specific job. If you're doing that in person with somebody, you got to have good boundaries, because that could be your out. If you do something, you say, okay, I want to get through X amount. Let's try X amount of hours. Let's do X amount of things. And it doesn't work. You have to be strong enough to tell them it's not working. This job is done. So I'm not moving forward with anything else. Like, Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
Up,
That's the
Upwork gives you a little more out. Like it kind of takes like Jenny and I will send pictures back and forth. Like she sent me pictures of her family and I sent her pictures of like when Maria moved to college, like all that stuff. So we've made it personable, but it can really take the personal aspect out of it. If you just want to hire someone to get a job done and that's it, it can help with that aspect of it.
Yeah, and I did have I think I used Fiverr. This is going back about 5 or 6 years to hire virtual. I think I had 2 or 3 of them, not at the same time, but yeah, the last one I had, it I had to, I had to dismiss her because, she started off great and then all of a sudden like, oh, I did this and I did that. So it needed to be monitored and I was like this is just getting to be more work than it's worth at this point. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, you can definitely have but it is easy I'm somebody that avoids confrontation or avoids anything like that. It was fine. It was easy. Like
Yeah.
yeah, this
Oh,
is not
not
working.
anymore. The new Libby does not
Oh, I
avoid
don't anymore.
confrontation.
No, bring
No,
it
no.
on.
The new Libby,
Bring it
the new Libby
on.
will take you down.
It can do anything. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
But
I love it.
it's real easy. It's real easy to do that. Like it's not intimidating, or
Yeah,
you can
that's
end a
good to know.
contract if it's
Good to
not
know.
if it's not going your way. Yeah.
Well, I want to bring up Samantha touched on this some, but the knowing when you can afford it is the most, to me, one of the
Yeah.
most important things. Not just having enough work for them to keep them busy, but knowing when your business can afford it. Let's chat about
Now I have
that.
some ideas on this too. Yeah.
Go for it.
So specifically for my situation with the Poshmark, my idea was, okay, I don't have anything in Poshmark right now. I totally drained it. If I have her put like, let's see how many she can do an hour and that kind of thing. Like, let's start this out slow, show her what I want, get her there. She already had experience with Poshmark and using what was Nifty before it was Nifty. Posher VA? No. Posher. Anyways,
Whatever it was.
she used it, so she was familiar with that. So my thought was, okay, if I hire someone, she gets stuff in there. If within 3 months Poshmark is at least paying for her, then we're good. Like I take away all my other business things. Within 3 months, I need Poshmark to pay for her, and then I know it's worth it. And it got to that point, and it was great. And then I just kept doing that. Like, okay, now I need X to do this and X to do that. And anytime I would add hours or a task or whatever, like I always kept in mind of like, okay, this task has to pay for itself or this thing. Otherwise, I need to do it. So that was how I gauge that, because I don't know if I could think of a specific money amount of like when I get to X amount, then I need to start paying somebody to. It was more of just a specific goal that I had in mind with Poshmark and to make sure that it paid for it.
Yeah, I think that if you have like a metric like that, that makes it really easy.
It's
But you're
really
not
easy.
always gonna have you're not always gonna have a fresh store that you can measure exactly what it is. Like you might be measuring increases, things like that. One of the other things you can do is, if you're doing profit first, or even if you're not, take a percentage of your income every week and put it into an account. And I would say build 1 month. It doesn't have to be 3 months. I would say build 1 month of what you anticipate paying this person. And when you have that, that'll be where you start. But keep putting the money into that account, whether 5% of your income, 1%, whatever it is, just keep putting it in an account. When you have enough for a month, go ahead, try it out, see how it works. And then you can see if you can like extend, like, because the money will still be going into that account. And if you're making more money, that 1% is going to be more money going in there. You can kind of use that like as a scale to measure if you're
Absolutely
better with the assistant, because there is a training period, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like a ramp up period where you're not going to be recovering that money. So just make sure that you're able to do that. And if you can set it aside first, I think that's really ideal. But I understand not everybody's going to be able to do that.
I like it.
That's good. I like that.
I like it. I like it. Just like we always say with adding platforms or other things to your business, don't do it till you know you can afford it.
Right.
Your business can afford it.
So I also think that people should revisit the listing calculator. You kind of start it when you think like, okay, I want to hire someone or I want to scale my business. You start with like, I want to grow to make this much money. And you use our listing calculators, just super easy, super quick, and it's free. Just use the link. And you put it in and say, okay, this is what I need to list based on my current numbers. But make sure that you're going back. Like I visit that usually every quarter, every new 12-week year. I put my numbers in and say, okay, now am I on track? Do I need to list more? Can I list less for the summer, which is what I'm actually doing now, and still stay on track? So make sure that you're tweaking those and paying attention to that. And that will also help you. Like Ella is well trained now. She understands most aspects. So now it's like, okay, if I have her pump out X amount of listings where she does the photographs, I just make a pile of like, this is Tiffany's and this pile is all $19. This is also Tiffany's and these are all $39. And then she photographs, measures, and uploads them into Consign Cloud for me. And then she'll even move them into Nifty for Jenny. So like I essentially don't even touch a listing.
What are you doing all day?
Yeah. I went camping. No. So, but keep revisiting that calculator because like last week we pumped out so much stuff in the beginning of the week because Ella wanted more hours that I may have fluffed off a little at the end of the week, and I took care of some stuff that was like needed to be taken care of, but not really a big deal and wasn't really going to make me a ton of money. But it was nice because we'd already hit all the goals, and I knew in order to make the most of her time and hit my goals, what to have her do while she was here. So make sure that you're like reevaluating that as people hit milestones or throughout your year. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. All right, so these are the things. I hope you got good things out of this. I know I did. I'm ready to go look on Upworks, and I don't know. I might hire a VA. I don't know.
You know what I got out of
Ooh.
this is what Samantha just said. I don't think I was treating when somebody comes in and volunteers some hours. I don't think I'm maximizing that because I'm not appreciating it the same way as I would if I'm paying somebody and make sure I have like the tasks lined up for them.
Yeah. So
I need to be able to do that.
So that goes back to the making sure that you're getting the most out of someone without the more I have to answer questions. And this is shout out to our co-working room, our 24-hour room that we have, because people watch me interact with Ella and they watch us. And at one point, Dawn was like, wow, like Ella had left and he's like, so what happened today? That was chaotic watching you two like literally bump into each other all day long. And like, because we didn't have a plan, she had learned to do so much stuff that it almost got like, she just kept asking me, what do you want me to do next? And I'm like, oh crap, you already went through all that. Okay. So now it's like the day before or even the hour before, whatever, I make the piles, I have her do stuff, she has her schedule, like there's time blocks. Can that change? Absolutely. Something will come up and I'll be like, holy crap, we need to re-inventory 10 bins and figure out this issue or whatever. But for the most part, I have it laid out ahead of time. She just does her part. We don't even need to talk to each other for a couple hours. We just listen to music. It's great.
I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. I want to remind people to look for those red flags that maybe tell you I need help, right? Like I know one of my biggest red flags when Nick really started to help and step in was when my money mountain range really got out of control. It was shortly after I got my last estate, and he could see I was drowning and just could not solo all of this. So he was like, what can I take off your plate? What can I do to help? So, you have to look for those red flags. Sometimes I think we just get into what we do and you don't, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, but you don't think, where could I get help in this? Do I need help?
Yeah.
So I think you got to look at those kind of things when it's overwhelming you. If you have so many listings that you can't put out, or your money mountain is so high, or I don't know, something.
Or if your shipping is taking up 3 hours every morning and all you're thinking about while you're doing your shipping is, I'm so behind on my listings. I should be doing X. Like, either you need someone to help you do the listings or someone to help you do the shipping. You have someone helping you do the listings. You have multiple people. It's okay. But
Yes, Libby.
but
Libby, you have
especially-
more. Well, both of you have more people working for you. I just have one that does. I have one, but he does a lot. He does
Right.
a lot. Sometimes too much.
we
No,
should
no.
have had Nick on here for this episode, really.
Right?
I mean,
Mhm.
Right. So he could talk about what it is to work for Molly. No.
yeah.
I think we should have like a Nick, Avery, Bill episode
Oh,
and
there
kind
we
of
go.
like, all right, behind the scenes of what it's really like to work.
Wouldn't
for the
that be
ladies
fun?
of
Ella, we could have
Consignment.
Ella on. Sweet little
Oh,
Ella.
Ella. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
sounds wild. I don't know about this. This is like
Yeah.
this is like that trend right now where they play the music and everybody's like what they'd say or what I'd say getting ready for my Netflix documentary or whatever. And they're
Right,
saying,
right.
That sounds like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we
Right.
should do it. We should do a crime documentary style.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
started
yes.
off great. I thought I was just going in to measure pants.
I love it. I love it. All right, y'all. So just remember, hiring help isn't giving up, right? It's leveling up. We say we're here to help you level up your business. That's what we're about, but it's not giving up. So don't get scared of it. Whether it's a lister, it's a VA, letting your kid pack boxes for cash in their pocket, whatever it is, the goal's the same. Get your time back for the stuff only you can do or only you like to do. So tell us in the comments, have you hired help yet? Are you still white knuckling it solo and trying to survive? Let us know in the comments. All right, girls, until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for being here with us on Consignment Chat. Find everything we do at consignmentchats.com and stay connected with us by subscribing wherever you listen or watch. We'll see you next time.